Hey everyone. Today I decided to do another Stuff I Love video. A while ago I did a video about the little muscle figures for Street Sharks. There was one of them. And I really like Street Sharks, so I just wanted to just gush about it for a while. I got some of my tapes up there that I used to watch all the time. Paranoid, the UK annual over there, and the best thing, I got the Mill Creek DVD there. So I was able to see all of it again recently. Or, well, by recently I mean like a year or two ago or actually it was more than a year or two ago. It was, when did this come out? I don't remember when this, oh, 2013. Oh, wow, so I've had this for a while then. I got this, I think, a little while after I got out of high school. So anyway, Street Sharks, kind of popular with memes, I guess. And a while ago, there was an article I read about some guy who trolled a TV guide website, and he wrote a bunch of like fake episode descriptions for Street Sharks, and that site was bought by a bigger site, and so the fake descriptions were there for quite a while before somebody went in and fixed it. I knew none of this. I didn't have internet growing up, and even if I did, I don't think I would have looked up Street Sharks, even though I really liked it. Like in school, I remember the first couple times we used the computers, we could do it, we could do whatever we wanted on them. I looked up like Family Guy. This is back when Family Guy was still really good. Anyway, Street Sharks. Let's see. I'll talk about my earliest memory. I remember. I don't remember which station it came on. I kept thinking it came on 34. Maybe it did because the tapes say Buena Vista on them, and uh, Buena Vista was Disney's company, so a lot of Buena Vista stuff played on Channel 34, which was ABC. Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember much of like when it was on TV. I remember mostly these couple of tapes I had because I was really young. Like it came out 91 or 92 and I was born in 92. So it was off the air like yeah, by the time I was 5, and 5 is when I remember most of what I was watching on TV. So let's see. For Street Sharks, I remember seeing it once in a while, but I don't really remember specifics, just seeing it and I know Street Sharks. I had some of the toys. I have a couple of them here. There's Ripster. Oh, and a lot of people will know the toys from, who was that guy? Vin Diesel, I think it was. One of his first acting roles was actually promoting Street Shark toys. Round mounds of pound, or something. Again, I don't really know the memes or anything that well. There's a little jab squirt gun or something. You squeeze him and he's supposed to squirt water out this little hole in his mouth there. Oh, and there's a big jab there. He could do two things. He could open his mouth, and if you move this arm, he could headbutt stuff with his hammerhead. Isn't that neat? I also have a Streaks figure somewhere, and I don't have Slamoo. Let's see, I got Paranoid there, and Ben's there. Let's see. Oh, and there was a Street Shark comic book. It only ran for 6 issues from what I could find. The first 3 issues adapted the pilot of the series, then the next 3 went off into their own direction. They were really weird. They had to do with this like race of water-dwelling humanoids or something. I can't remember because I'm missing some of the issue. I have like I think only one of them, and I have no idea where the one that I do have is. I have a lot of comics. At some point, I should do a video going through all my comics. Anyway, back to Street Sharks. Let's see. So I didn't have very good memories of what the show was like, except for what was on these couple of tapes I had. So when I got the DVD, I was finally able to see the whole thing, and that was really cool because a plot point brought up in these first 2 volumes on the tapes is their father, the Street Sharks. Now, for those who don't know, I'll go into a little bit of backstory for the Street Sharks. They were 4 teenagers, or well, at least 3 of them were teenagers, and one of them was possibly in college, maybe, or right out of high school or something. I don't know, young adults. Anyway, let's see. This dude, Paranoid or Paradigm. He doesn't look like this at the beginning of the show. He's like just a normal-looking person at the beginning. He's performing experiments on animals, and Dr. Bolton, the Street Sharks, as humans' father, he's not okay with the type of experiments Paradigm is doing. And let's see, he's going to expose Paradigm, but Paradigm injects him with mutant DNA or something. Bolton mutates into an unseen creature he's only ever seen in silhouettes. We see like a claw, some dripping slime once in a while. And, what's going on? Sorry, had to clear my throat. So let's see. So, Bolton, his kids, the four Street Sharks, they don't know where he is. They don't know what's going on. But they find out, let's see, Paradigm was the last guy he talked to. They go to check out Paradigm, and Paradigm is like, come with me into my lab. And then one of them is like, hey, what are you doing with that watch? That's Dad's watch. Such a generous creature. I just love the guy who does Paradigm's voice. He's so awesome. And let's see. Oh yeah, Paradigm has a couple of mutant monsters by that point. They catch the kids. They hook them up to these tables, and Paradigm wants to inject them with shark DNA. And he does. But they die, apparently. Yeah. This was a crazy cartoon. So, Paradigm is all bummed out because the kids are dead, he thinks. And so, Slash and Slopster, the two villains, the mutants who he has, are like, what shall we do with them, boss? He goes, whatever, let's get them out of my sight. So they dump him in a river, and this girl who looks a lot like April O'Neil from Ninja Turtles sees, and she screams a lot. I don't know if this was intentional. There were a few like little jabs at Ninja Turtles. Oh, hey, jab. Anyway, let's see. Early on, Paradigm, he's going through DNA for something. I think it's for when he creates Killamari, a later mutant. And he looks at a turtle, too slow. And he looks at a rabbit, Usagi Yojimbo, too small. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then there's a really awkward gag that doesn't make any sense, and even as a kid, I was kind of like, that's not really funny. Where Lena, a friend of the Sharks, she offers them pizza, and they're like, pizza, yuck. Okay. Anyway, back to the story. The kids, they're in the river. They wash up on a shore. They wake up all dizzy. They're not quite sure what happened, and they see this hot dog stand. They're like, "Oh, hey, let's go get some hot dogs and figure out what happened." So they go to get hot dogs, and then suddenly their hands start to mutate into claws, and then their bodies start to mutate, and then they eat the hot dog stand. And then they try to apologize to the guy running it, and he runs away, and they're like, oh, hey, we should probably figure out what's going on. And then they run into their friend Ben's here, who runs a comic book shop, and that becomes like their hideout, their base. He has this whole little thing underneath the comic book shop that they hang out at. Let's see, he gives them vehicles, and yeah. This was a crazy cartoon, man. It's so 90s. And, yeah, it's just nuts. So, anyway, the sharks are on the loose. Paradigm, let's see, he hooks himself up in this crazy costume here. Let me get back up there. I got a lot of stuff. Anyway, let's see. Apparently he gets stuck in this suit that he makes. Oh, yeah, and he's trying to inject Ben's with piranha DNA. Benz gets away with the help of the sharks, and Paradigm... Oh, I forgot, it does this. He gets injected with the piranha DNA. No! And then... He turns into a piranha. Isn't that awesome? Somewhere I have a bunch of Street Sharks trading cards. I have them in a binder somewhere. Anyway, so Paradigm becomes paranoid. Oh, that toy's awesome. Yeah, no, he's standing there. So the show, let's see, a lot of the episodes were actually kind of serious in tone. It's kind of surprising that such a goofy '90s cartoon would have serious episodes. There was an anti-drug episode which was actually pretty well done for a '90s cheesy PSA cartoon. There's a bunch of weird bits in it that don't make any sense. I think I wrote out a whole overview of it on my DeviantArt. Let's see, I'm trying to remember bits of it. Oh yeah, I remember, let's see, Ripster, he puts on sunglasses and a leather jacket, and somehow he passes for human. Okay, it was stretching it with the Ninja Turtles do that, but... Shark. Freaking Shark puts on sunglasses. That's enough for people to not realize he's a shark. Alright, sure. 90s cartoon. Let's see. Oh, and there were lots of cool villains. Aside from Paradigm and the mutants, there's a couple other villains. Let's see. There was a gangster. I can't remember what his name is. Dang, that's gonna bug me now. I used to be such a big nerd. I wrote down, like, character bios for all the Street Shark characters. I knew all of them. I can't remember that gangster's name, but there was a funny thing. He had these, like, couple of Chihuahua puppies, Zeus and Apollo, annoying little yappy puppies. Let's see, he's in a wheelchair, and a bunch of people would see him and go, or he'd talk about what a great gangster he was, and they'd be like, I thought he was dead. I'm not dead! And that was the running thing with him, was getting frustrated whenever people would tell him that they thought he was dead. Which, yeah, that's kind of funny that a cartoon could get away with, like, implications of, like, mentions of death, and then later on it was so taboo, you can't mention death. Or it has to be, send them to the next dimension. Or all these other, dungeon. All these silly ways to get around it when there's really no problem. I mean, I watched it when I was under 5, and I was fine. I knew what death was, and it didn't bother me. Let's see. There were other mutants that Paradigm created by accident who become allies to the Street Sharks. There's a few who weren't allies. I remember there was... oh yeah, there was a... what's his name? Malcolm Medusa. He was like a shady businessman. And his episode, looking at as an adult, is kind of weird. He has this factory that he's pretending doesn't cause a lot of pollution, but it really does. And there's this guy, Clamando, some guy with kind of dark skin. I thought, like, is he an illegal immigrant? Like, is he South American? Is he not supposed to be here? Anyway, he falls into toxic waste and mutates into a giant clam. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, and he has a rocket launcher. And the reason why I was thinking, like, is he illegal is Malcolm tries to cover up, like, what happened to him. And he really didn't have any reason to. Like, okay, this guy fell into the toxic waste, but it wasn't necessarily, like, his problem. Like, yeah, it was his factory or whatever. Maybe he should have put up some guardrails or something. But, I don't know, it just felt like he could very easily cover up this guy's mutation, but he doesn't, and he keeps the guy very close to him, and he's like like a bodyguard to him. Oh, and there's a weird thing with Clamando. Originally, he's a giant clam with eyes and a rocket launcher. Later on, one of his eyes is like is all glazed over. What happened? Like, did he wound his eye? I can't remember, like, if he had an eye patch at some point or not. So anyway, that's one of the villains. Let's see. See if I can jog any memories. Oh yeah, this is something. I was such a big nerd, and I didn't have internet, so I wrote out like episode summaries for every single episode, and I even wrote like little interesting tidbits about each episode. Oh yeah, the first 3 episodes, the pilot episodes, were weird because they had a different theme than the rest of the show had. Originally, the theme, I liked it, but it wasn't the best. I liked the later theme better. You know who had the best Street Sharks theme, though, was Italy. They had an incredible theme. Quattro pine all'orizzonte, quattro pine all'orizzonte. The Italian theme was awesome. I have a CD of Enzo Draghi, who did a bunch of Italian cartoon themes. His Ivanhoe theme was freaking amazing. Look up Ivanhoe Sigla. It's awesome. Oh, and he also did the Italian Beetleborgs themes. That was awesome. So anyway, let's see if there's anything interesting here. Oh, Dr. Alina. An ally for the Sharks was Alina. She was a black woman who was a doctor. And she was a pretty strong character, actually. for all the like people who say that there's no strong female characters, or the cartoons that try way too hard to have strong female characters, when you don't have to try that hard. Just have a respectable female character and people will like her. At least I liked her. I don't know. Most people probably don't even remember Street Sharks. So let's see. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, what was his name? Shrimp Louie. That was a really weird mutant. He just comes out of nowhere. Paradigm just suddenly has this giant, like, crawfish thing with him named Shrimp Louie. He's whiny, he's annoying, he never does anything right, but for some reason, Paradigm really likes him. None of the other, like, mutants get as much respect from Paradigm as Shrimp Louie does. And I think the reason is Paradigm knows that Shrimp Louie is the one that he can yell at, that he can demean, and he won't fight back. All the other mutants, they'll fight back, but Shrimp Louie won't. Let's see. Oh yeah, Mr. Cunnisworth. Cunnyworth? Something. This guy who runs a hotel. There's a rock star who gets mutated into a shark. His name is Rox. Yeah, isn't that creative? Anyway, he wrecks the hotel that Mr. Cunnisworth owns, and Paradigm mutates him into Reptile, who would go on to be really overused in the series. They forget that they have Slopster, Slash, Killamari, and all these other villains. Oh well. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's an episode where they go back in time. Oh no, they go forward in time. Although there is also an episode where they go back in time. Anyway, they go forward in time, and there's this weird post-apocalyptic future where they meet Benz's descendant, General Benzini. So I guess that's where what Benz is short for. I always thought it was B-E-N-Z, but it turns out it's B-E-N-D-S. I thought, that's such a weird name. Why is his name Benz? And then it turns out, oh, it was short for Benzini. And there's another weird thing. It's in this UK annual. Let's see. His name was actually hyphenated. Where is... There he is. Ben's Banner. Brandon Ben's Banner. I don't know if they ever say his full name in there. Anyway. There's a picture of Ben's, and there is Dr. Lena. This was a really cool little thing to find. There's other Street Shark books, but they're really expensive now. Like, even when they do pop up on eBay, they're pricey. Anyway, there's Dr. Bolton, the shark's father. There's Slamu there. I'll just put this back up here. There it goes. And now back to my little episode guidebook here. I'll see if there's anything else interesting to talk about. Oh yeah, this is a weird one. Chernozem. There's an episode where the sharks get a message from a country called Chernozem. There's this dictator who's using this hypnosis device to keep the people obedient. Yeah, it's weird. And then, oh yeah, there's an episode where Dr. Paradigm has this new process he calls gene washing that he used to mind control people, and he wants to use it on the president who's coming to visit the town they live in, Fission City. Oh, that was something interesting. Fission City. The early episodes, each episode would begin with this guy in the sky, who was this helicopter traffic reporter. He'd bump his helicopter into the Fission City sign, and a letter would fall off. And the same gag pops up in the Toxic Crusaders cartoon, which I think came before Street Sharks. I don't know for sure, but that's really interesting. I wonder if they had some of the same people working on both shows. They were kind of similar in tone and writing styles. Maybe. Toxic Avenger is something I should do a Stuff I Love video about. Watch for that one. So anyway, in that episode, Slamu was revealed to be really patriotic and really respectful of the president. And I wonder what he would think of the president now. Like, he probably would have some respect for him. Let's see. Oh, the drugs episode. Now, in the anti-drug episode, they weren't allowed to use any actual drugs, maybe, so they had, like, fake versions of steroids called Super Blues that give you rage issues and buff you up like crazy. And, yeah. Oh, and also they might cause heart attacks. rough for a... It's pretty heavy for a kid's show. So anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, this is one. Too Shark or Not Too Shark? That was a dumb thing with Street Sharks. Every episode title had the word sharks in the title. 90s? Anyway, Too Shark or Not Too Shark? Paradigm makes this serum that can turn mutants back to humans, and Streaks takes it, and the other sharks aren't sure if they want to. Like, they can become human again or stay sharks. So they take it, they become human, but then they realize they can't fight Paradigm anymore, and they have to make a tough decision. They have to turn back into sharks because the serum is like a one-time use only thing or something. So they turn back into sharks and they give up their humanity. And that was a really, like, kind of strong, heavy episode. I wasn't expecting to be, like, kind of emotionally invested in these characters from a goofy 90s cartoon. Let's see. Oh, El Sordo. There was a circus performer with a swordfish that he would sword fight with. And they get fused together into El Sordo. That's a terrible name. I don't know, maybe it sounds better in Spanish, like El Santo. Actually, El Santo sounds cool in English. El Sordo just sounds dumb in English. Oh, the Wolverinipeds. Look up Street Sharks Wolverinipeds if you want to have some nightmare fuel for you. Those things are freaky and awesome. Oh, there's the gangster's name. Maximilian Greco. That was his name. Maximilian Greco. He was awesome. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then at the end of the series, we unfortunately had some problems behind the scenes. The writers for Street Sharks, like, it was a cheesy show, it was a silly show, clearly from the get-go. But the writers clearly had a vision for where the show was going, what it was going to be like, and it's clear, especially from the last, like, 7 or so episodes, that there were some major issues going on behind the scenes. I don't know if it was the toy company told them you have to kill off those characters and bring in new characters, or what was going on, but the writers were clearly throwing a tantrum with the writing in the later episodes. The later episodes introduced the Dino-Vengers from space, these dinosaur aliens who are transporting some criminals. They crash on Earth, and they, with the help of the Street Sharks, try to recapture the criminals. Yeah, it sounds like just another episode, but no, this goes on for the rest of the series. In fact, when it aired on TV, apparently it had its own theme song. It was called Dino-Vengers featuring the Street Sharks. On the Mill Creek DVD, they just straight across have everything the same theme song after episode 3. So the original theme isn't there, unfortunately. Anyway, the writing it's really unpleasant. The Dino-Vengers are just enormous jerks. They're not very good heroes, they're not good at what they do. You kind of want to see the criminals win. Bad Rap and the Raptors? I think they were called the Raptors. Whatever. The main villain was Bad Rap, and I think he had Gary Chalk as his voice actor, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, the Dino-Vengers, they had great designs. They looked awesome. I mean, they're mutant dinosaurs. It looks awesome. But their attitudes were awful. They blame the Street Sharks for everything. Like, you don't even belong in this show. This isn't your show. And, let's see, eventually the show sputtered to a conclusion. They never find their father, even though there were tons of clues leading up to an inevitable conclusion that never happened. And unfortunately, due to the show's status as just goofy 90s meme fodder, it's probably never going to get its conclusion. I'd love to know what the writers, like, see, Martha Morin was a strong writer on this series. She was also well known for writing the show Cops. Not the reality show Cops, the Cops Central Organization of Police Specialists fighting crime in a future time. That cartoon from the 80s. Awesome cartoon, also. Anyway. Oh, and there's a bonus episode of Cops on here for some reason. It has nothing to do with Street Sharks. Martha Morin wrote it, and she was a writer on Street Sharks for a lot of episodes, so... tangentially related? Anyway. Spoilers. They do capture Paradigm at the end. However, they never find their father, they never turn back human. All the other mutants are still mutants wandering around on Earth, I'm assuming. The criminals are recaptured, or no, they leave Earth, and the Dino Avengers pursue them, and there's apparently no intention of the villains of ever returning to Earth. The end. So the show really just... It's kind of like Sliders in a way, where they had this great show, a great format, everything worked, but then there's obviously executive meddling that gets in the way and is like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, kill off that character, get rid of these characters, push these characters that fans don't want, audiences don't want, they don't work, the writers don't want to do it, and in the end it's just really unpleasant and uncomfortable to watch. But there is a bright side. The Dino Avengers would get completely rebooted for their own show, The Extreme Dinosaurs, which there's a bootleg DVD I have of it, because it doesn't have an official release in the US. I think it's got an official release in Australia or something. I think Germany got it. Oh yeah, the Street Sharks made an appearance in an anime, kind of. There was some... I can't remember who it was. There was some pretty prolific artist in Japan. I can't remember who he was or what manga anime he was famous for, but he drew like doujinshis, and he drew the Extreme Dinosaurs and the Street Sharks, and the Street Sharks showed up in some anime. There was a bunch of weird cameos. I think there was a cameo from Ren and Stimpy in there also. Let's see. Trying to think of more Street Shark stuff. Oh, when I was a kid, I had a pair of sneakers with Street Sharks on them. I really wish I had saved those. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit about Extreme Dinosaurs. I haven't seen all of Extreme Dinosaurs yet. I watched the first couple episodes, and I really liked it, and I had a tape of some of the later episodes. Oh yeah, they changed their personalities around. Their names are the same as they were in Dino Avengers, but their voices and their personalities completely changed. Including the villains. The villains are quite a bit different in Extreme Dinosaurs compared to Street Sharks. This video's been going on for kind of long, so I'm going to wrap it up. I haven't seen all of Extreme Dinosaurs. Maybe I'll talk about that when I've seen the whole series. But now I'm really thinking of doing a Toxic Avenger video. I'll see ya.